All right, good evening, everyone. It's Sunday, January 7th. It's about 7:45 p.m., and I hope you enjoyed the weather today because it's not going to be like that for a while. So, welcome in. Thank you for watching, and those of y'all who have tuned in at the very beginning, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate that. Well, we're going to talk about some wild weather this week. It's going to be kind of crazy, but that's nothing terribly unusual for North Texas if you've lived here for any length of time. So, we're going to talk about some rain, possible storms, cold weather for sure, but maybe some really cold weather. So let's go ahead and dive into it. And there's no better way to start than the current conditions outside. Temperatures in the lower 50s. The wind is starting to pick up. We had a gust of 20 miles an hour not too long ago, so that trend's going to continue. We're going to talk about the wind and that part of the storm system, which is going to be kind of crazy. And it's just going to be kind of a wild weather ride this week, and certainly going into next week. So, excuse me. Anyway, so we could talk about that as we go on. So, what's the short-term weather looking like? So, this is our storm setup that we have. This is really going to start probably after midnight, especially for areas out west of us. I think that you know what? Let me. I think I got the wrong camera up here. Hold on, just you know what? I know what I did. I didn't add my new camera on this slide, so give me just a second, and I can do that. Yeah, I had it on the initial screen, but I didn't have it on this one. Let's see if let's turn this one off. Let's see if this works. Yeah, it's always fun when yeah, don't want that one. Let's try this one. Why is that one not showing up? Okay, I'll give it one more try, and then if that doesn't work, then we will go back to the webcam here. Oh, you know what? I know what I'm doing wrong. And you would think I would test this stuff out to begin with. All right. All right. Let me copy this. Go back over here. There we go. All right. All right. That's what I wanted. Oh yes. Well, that's great. I if you didn't watch my live stream last Sunday night, I got a new camera for Christmas, and so the webcam that I normally have is, of course, you just saw is what I used for a long time. But this is a nice Canon camera. Thank you to the lovely Mrs. Pickerstaff for getting that Christmas gift for me. So I wanted to make sure I was using that for all my slides. So anyway, all right. So back to the forecast. So you're going to see this storm system start to affect North Texas really after midnight, but really I would say from 5 a.m. western areas. Probably just a tad after rush hour for the central part of North Texas, and then the eastern parts of North Texas after 11 o'clock. Now, I don't think it's going to last terribly long. We're not talking about a long duration rain event. We're just talking about some showers and thunderstorms, maybe even I say a squall line, not a severe squall line, but maybe a line of storms that moves through, through DFW proper from 9 a.m. to 11 excuse me, 1 p.m., something like that. Obviously, the further west you are, before that'd be a little earlier than that. The further east you are, be a little bit later than that. So you can see on this graphic here, I think the Weather Service office in Fort Worth did a good job of kind of visualizing everything. So you see the whole area is in green. So I think the whole area is going to get some rain. I don't think there's any question about that. The only variables to the storm system for tomorrow are the amount of rain that we might get, if we get any storms, number one, and number two, if we do ultimately get storms, will they be severe? And as you can see from the graphic, most of the severe weather will be southeast of Dallas Fort Worth. We're going to show a couple storm prediction center maps here in just a second to kind of give you a better detail for that. But like I said, excuse me. So there's a couple of certainties with this. Number one, like I said, everybody's going to get rain, and everybody's going to get wind. So that is something that we can count on for sure. As far as everything else, that's kind of a little bit more iffy as far as storms and certainly any severe storms. But like I said, most of it would be southeast as far as any type of severe weather we would see. And so with that, I mentioned the wind, and this is going to be a theme for the most part, starting probably after midnight. Like I said, we've already had a gust here at my house over 20 miles an hour. The storm system is starting to crank up, and this is really going to be a story, especially after this cold front moves through late tomorrow, early Tuesday morning. The winds are really going to get strong. We got to get past the storm system first, but when we do get this front that moves through, this is just I think this graph does a good job of what we're going to see. So we're definitely going to see winds 20, 25 miles an hour sustained, not gusts, but sustained. So that's a given. So if you have any kind of loose objects, if you happen to have your Christmas decorations still out there, I would definitely, you might even want to run out there tonight, even though it's dark, and pick those up. The wind is really going to start to pick up after noon tomorrow. We're going to see gusts from 30 miles an hour to 45 miles an hour, especially areas out west of Dallas Fort Worth. You might see wind gusts at 55 miles an hour. I think that's going to be an isolated thing as opposed to a common thing around North Texas. But I think out west, which is a little more common based on our elevation and geography west of Dallas Fort Worth, excuse me, I think you'll see if we do have any gusts of 55 miles an hour, it would be out that way. And so, like I said, there's kind of two components to this storm that's moving through early tomorrow morning and into the day tomorrow is these storm potential, which I'm going to talk about here in just a second, and which is sort of iffy for North Texas, and then the wind potential, which is pretty much a given. It's just how gusty will the winds get. It's going to be gusty. I don't have this there. Yeah, there it is. There is a wind advisory that goes into effect noon tomorrow west of Dallas Fort Worth, and then starting at 7 p.m. tomorrow evening you'll see the wind advisory pick up. And if you don't know, the Weather Service issues wind advisories if you have sustained winds of 25 miles an hour or greater. And I think we're definitely going to see that. So, all right, so let's focus on the severe weather potential part of the forecast. And this is actually today's severe weather potential outlook map. I just put this in here just to kind of give you a reference. And this is really more for later tonight. So there's a marginal risk of severe storms from Wichita Falls down to Abilene, well west of Dallas Fort Worth. The lighter green is general thunderstorms. So again, that's not even in the Metroplex forecast for us overnight hours. Now tomorrow's where it gets a little more interesting. So you do see almost all of North Texas is in a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms. Has a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms. Remember that's level 1 out of 5. So we're not talking about anything widespread or anything like that. But I'm going to show you what the specific details hazards are here in a minute. But other than the Paris area, maybe Sherman area, everybody has at least a small chance of seeing a severe thunderstorm. Now, what types are we going to see? So, as you can see, tornado risk it's never really zero when we have a storm set up, but it's might as well be. It's less than 2%, as these maps show. And so, tornadoes is not really going to be a concern for us tomorrow in North Texas. Really, the hail won't be either. You see the 2% and the 5% category southeast of Dallas Fort Worth. And again, if you go back to the general severe weather outlook, that kind of matches the slight risk and then the enhanced risk, which is well into Louisiana. But again, and so is the tornado threat. So really, the hail threat's not that big a deal either. The wind threat, and this is separate from the winds that will come in with the front. This is any wind gusts convectively with a severe thunderstorm. We do have a 2% chance to see that based on the brown. So again, I think that if we did have any severe thunderstorm warnings in Dallas Fort Worth tomorrow morning, I don't know if there's a guarantee we'll have any, but if we did, most likely it would be because of severe wind gusts. Again, as always, the criteria for that is 58 miles an hour wind gust or greater. So I don't know that we'll see a lot of that. Hello, Tawana. Thank you. You're very welcome. I like keeping you all updated. And by the way, if you have a question, and shoot me a chat, whatever platform you're watching on. We stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So whatever platform you're watching, I can get all the comments on the left of my screen here. So if you have a comment or a question, feel free to shoot me one of those. All right. Thank you, Debbie. You're welcome, Debbie. My pleasure. All right. So once we get past this little storm system tomorrow, and I say little, not to totally dismiss it, but it's going to seem little in the bigger scheme of things. So, I don't really have a graphic for this, but actually before we get to Friday, so it's going to be this classic roller coaster we have this week. So if you start today, so today was nice. It's a little windy, but temperatures it almost got to 60 degrees at my house. Fairly nice for the first week in January. And then tomorrow's going to be stormy in a sense, at least early, potentially stormy. And it's going to be windy, and it's going to turn colder, not anything crazy. It's probably going to be, it might dip into the 20s, or upper 20s Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning. But then, that storm system is going to move out, and then we're going to set the stage for another system that's going to come in Friday, Saturday. but before then, Wednesday and Thursday, it's going to be sunny and quote unquote warm. Hey, Kara, how are you? It's going to be it's rather nice, if you will. It's going to be windy, but the wind's going to be out of a different direction. The wind, as some of my storm chaser friends say, the wind bag we're going to have, the wind's going to be out of the north tomorrow and Tuesday, and then the wind's going to turn around and be out of south, southwest. You know, let's see, Wednesday, Thursday. And then where this graphic comes in is that we're gonna have another cold front, Arctic cold front, come through sometime on Friday night, probably after sunset. And this is gonna be cold, but don't get too excited about this because this is actually probably not the coldest it's going to be, and I'm going to show you that here in just a second, in the long term. But certainly next weekend it's going to be colder. So as you see on the left there, most of the area will get down to about 25 in the lowest sense, in low temperature wise. If you're down in central Texas, it might be closer to 28. And then, of course, if you're northwest of us, it might be closer to 19 degrees. I don't know that we'll see a lot of teens, not in the Metroplex, that's for sure, with this system. And then this kind of leads me into what we're going to talk about in the bigger picture. So, this, again, what I've talked about so far is this week up until, a week from today. So now what I want to focus on is the longer term, mid-January. And this is where it really gets interesting. So you can look at this 5-day outlook that actually starts on Tuesday and goes through Saturday. And this will be updated. So this is the best guess we have right now. But as you can see, you're looking at that temperature graph and thinking, oh, big deal, Jeff. I mean, highs in the 40s, lows in the 20s. I mean, okay, it is January. Yeah, but if you look over there on the right, you see this 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, and you see this well below normal purples and blues, and that's what we're going to talk about. And then the precipitation is actually about normal, which normally not a big deal, right? But if you have the really cold weather, even light precipitation can cause us problems, as we all know. So now I hesitate a little to show models. I'm going to show you several different ones. So because people, and I'm guilty of it sometimes too, people want to latch on to their favorite model. So what does that mean? What's your favorite model, Jeff? Well, if you're looking for snow, then you can find a model that gives us a couple inches of snow. If you're looking for, hey, you know what, Jeff, it's not really going to be as cold as they say. Well, there's a couple models that actually say that it's not going to be in the 20s. It's going to be more like in the mid 30s. So that's why it's, but I do like to show these because the models I'm going to show you, I'm just going to focus on temperature models right now. They're not that far off. So, but it kind of gives you a general idea that it's going to be cold. So that's really the message I'm trying to get across. So this is, I had them written down here. I think this is the GFS temperature for Saturday. So it may be a little hard to see, but if you can't see it, so they're forecasting a high of 28 on Saturday. That's pretty cold. If you think about it, we never have a normal high temperature that's below freezing. Even in the dead of winter in North Texas, our average high temperature, normal high temperature, however you want to look at it, is about 55, 52. So if we ever have a high that's below freezing, obviously that's well below normal, because actually our low temperatures, our average low temperatures, even in the dead of winter, is like right at freezing. So so that's it's gonna be colder than normal, that's for sure. So here's that was a GFS. So this is the European model, and so it's obviously a little colder, right? So instead of 28, 16. Now, why do I show you these two different maps? Because it's important to understand that there's so much spread between models that it's really, I always caution people not to get hung up on one particular model. And these that's why we had these blended models that I'm not really getting into that tonight. I may do a special podcast. I may do a special live broadcast about that. But that's why it's one model's going to run colder, another model's going to run hotter, and so that's. But again, I think these two models have done pretty well, because some models do well in the winter, they do better than they do in the summer, and vice versa. So I do like to kind of focus on the models that handle cold air pretty well. Okay, so and again, I showed this one. Excuse me, I showed this one because this is the extreme outlier right now. So this is the German model, and it's probably hard to read there, but that says a high of 4 degrees or low of 4 degrees, excuse me. And this would be January 17th, so not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday. Uh, Look, I think the chances of that happening are very, very slim. Again, though, I show you that to kind of give you context. So again, there's a four, and we kind of go backwards here. So this is going back to next Saturday. So either on Saturday, according to this first model, according to the GFS, it's only going to be 28 on Saturday high. Well, no, it's only going to be 16. Okay, it's probably going to be somewhere in between. It's definitely going to be cold, that's for sure. Now, if you fast forward, let me go this other way. So if you fast forward to next week, which actually not this week, but next week, week from today, is probably my bigger concern as far as bigger cold weather, or bigger cold weather, cold or really, really cold weather, because that's where this secondary Arctic blast is forecast to come through. And, that's why I think it's something that I wanted to come on and talk about tonight, because it's definitely a possibility. So if you just joined us, just in summary, I'll back up here, kind of go through this real quick again, and then I do see the chat, so I definitely will get those questions and comments here in a second. Okay, so let's go back to the first one. Okay, so if you're just joining us, again, gonna have storm systems come in tomorrow. Gonna bring rain, some storms, not very many storms. The further east and southeast you are, Dallas Fort Worth, is what you have to worry about is potential for severe weather. We're gonna have some rain. We're gonna have some gusty winds with the storms, and then again, if you're far west and North Texas, I should say, everything's probably gonna start about 5 o'clock in the morning, be done by 9. If you're in DFW, probably gonna start before 9 o'clock, be done by noon, give or take. And then if you're in East Texas, going to start by 11, be done by 3, give or take, of course. And like I said, regardless of whether you get a rain or you get a storm tomorrow, it's going to be windy after the front moves through. So again, that's going to be mid-afternoon to late afternoon for most of us. Again, further west yard, earlier it'll be, the further east yard, later it'll be. But that's where you're going to see winds 25 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour sustained. Gusts up to 45 miles an hour, maybe even 55 miles an hour. Again, as I said earlier, I think that's going to be more isolated than anything else. The severe weather outlook for today, out in West Texas, not a big deal. Tomorrow, marginal risk for Dallas Fort Worth, most of North Texas, again, except for the Paris, Sherman areas. But by the way, if you're up there, it doesn't mean you couldn't see something, but the chances are much slimmer. And then if you get down to Houston, Galveston, Bryan College Station, and points east, is where you're going to see a lot of the severe weather potential, I should say. Not a tornado threat tomorrow, so you don't have to worry about that. Not really a hail threat, so you don't have to worry about that. Like I said, the only really severe weather parameter we have to worry about tomorrow is severe wind gusts 58 miles an hour or greater in a storm, not a sustained wind, as I'm talking about after the front moves through. And then, like I said, so we're gonna have, and I don't have a slide for it, but in the middle of the week, it's going to be rather warm and windy, I say warm, temperatures in the 50s. And so, if you don't like this cold weather, I know Kara is one of them. If you don't like this cold weather, then enjoy Wednesday and Thursday because that'll be the time that it'll be a little bit warmer and then the bottom's going to fall out, as this graphic says. So, like I said, starting on Friday, probably after sunset, this first Arctic front's going to come through, and this next weekend it's going to be cold, so it's going to be below freezing. So, if you need to prepare anything, do it now. If you got to cover the pipes outside, if you have a swimming pool, just make sure you're winterizing your pool. It's you're going to need to do that. So do it now when you're not freezing outside. Doing it when it's almost too late. Like I said, so probably see temperatures bottom out in the mid 20s in the Metroplex, upper 20s down south, upper teens northwest, give or take. So that's and then the bigger outlook is going to be like I said, that's the first cold wave. The second cold wave is going to be really next weekend and going forward. So really, the week of the of course, next weekend's the 13th and 14th, and then the 15th, the week of the 15th, that's a Monday, is when you're going to see these type temperatures potentially. Like I said, this is kind of the middle. Actually, this is a this is a warm outlier, 28. The middle one's 16, and the other outlier, which is 4 degrees, I do not foresee that for us. But again, as I explained, if you were watching earlier, I was just explaining. I like to show these different contrasts between the models because it gives you an idea. Don't hang your hat on one particular model. All right, so hello, Mr. Edmonds from Pensacola. Man, I'm always kind of jealous when you say you're coming from Pensacola. I say y'all in a panic because it's going to get to the 30s. Oh my gosh, yes, y'all should be in a panic down there. Pull the pants out of storage for this winter apocalypse. Yeah, it's going to be cold for you guys, John. It's starting cold for the Florida Panhandle. I will tell you, John, on a little bit more serious note, they are predicting some pretty bad severe thunderstorms for the Florida Panhandle. I'm trying to go by memory here, probably Tuesday, if I remember right. So watch out for that. I was reading some, us weather geeks read stuff from around the country, and the southern Gulf Coast, really from Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, probably anything south of I-20. Could see some rough weather Tuesday, Wednesday, so watch out. 10-foot waves. Oh my gosh. Yeah, John, I think, as a matter of fact, I think I was reading there's a storm warning for the Gulf waters, which I don't think y'all get very often. I know you'll get small craft advisories and maybe a gale warning, but I don't think I've gotten a storm warning for a long time. So yeah, that's take some pictures. But don't don't go out. Don't endanger yourself. But yeah, stay safe over there because you are going to see some rough weather Tuesday, Wednesday. That's for sure. Yeah. So Kara asked. So on Tuesday the 16th, it's going to be freezing when I go to the Stars game. Oh yes, it's going to be freezing, Kara. On the 16th for sure. That might be when we're in the teeth of this. You probably see temperatures in the 20s for sure, maybe the teens. Yeah, so when you go to that game, bundle up for sure. Make sure you have a warm ride, which I'm sure you will. Hello, Abra. Yeah, I caught you live. Thank you. I appreciate you tuning in. I don't think Texas is ready for extreme temps. Yeah, well, let's hope for better than a couple of years ago. I'll just leave it at that. I do, and I guess as a comparison, it's not going to get that cold. So that's the good news from February 2021. Although, as I was joking, like with the I say joking, but just again showing the outlier model, which shows this as us at 4 degrees on, and this is on the 17th, by the way, Kara. I don't think it's going to be 4, but I don't think it's out of the question that it would be 15. Now, and having this saying the same thing, I don't think it's out of the question that the model, one of the warmer models shows us it would only be 22. So it's something that, like I said, this extreme quote unquote cold is still a week away, and maybe even a week and a half away. So that these models are going to change. Now I'm not saying they're going to change a whole bunch, but it's just we just don't want to get caught up And hey, it's going to be exactly this because nobody knows what it's exactly going to be. Not this far out. I'm talking about next week or the week after this week. Yes, Abra. Hopes are high, expectations are low. Well, that's well, I guess if you have low expectations, I guess the bar's not that high. I guess. I know what you're saying. So Kara asks, is it going to last a while or a day or two? Yeah, that's a great question. So there's really two ways to answer that, Kara. One is this first little batch that we're going to get tomorrow night. That cold wave is not going to last long at all. I mean, Tuesday is going to be a cold day. It's going to be cold. This coming Tuesday, it's going to be cold, windy, sunny. It's going to be. I mean, the sun's going to come out, so that's good. But it's going to be cold, especially with the wind. I mean, the wind's going to be crazy. And then, like I said, Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to have wind just from a different direction, the south. And that's where temperatures going to get up in the 50s, maybe even the low 60s for some. It won't be great, perfect weather because it'll be so windy. But so this cold snap coming late tomorrow night and Tuesday, that's not going to last very long at all. Now, the bigger cold snap that's coming next weekend, this coming Friday, that's going to hang around not forever, but it's going to hang around more than a day. It looks like that those temperatures won't moderate until around the 18th or 19th of January, which is again at the end of next week, not this week, next week. So that's why that cold snap will last longer than the first cold snap. We got two cold snaps. One's gonna be pretty short, not as intense, and then the second cold snap again a week from now, give or take, is going to be more intense and last longer, unfortunately. All right, so prepare accordingly. Hello, Miss Rake. How are you? Howdy. I talked about you earlier. I talked about Sherman, so you don't have to worry. Well, I say you don't have to worry about storms. You kind of do, but not as much as we do down here. So, so take that for what it's worth. All right, so let's do this. All right, there's my website, weather website. Hey, John. Are we able to freeze the backyard for hockey? Asking for a friend. Yeah. Well, let's put it this way, John. If we have to do that, we are all in trouble. Well, I will say this: if you want your backyard for hockey, then turn the sprinkler system on, let it freeze over, and then you'll have some ice. But I do not recommend that, by the way. John's a big hockey fan, which I cannot blame him. Okay, you can ask us many questions. Don't have to worry about one more question. Yeah, the cold precipitation, or with any precipitation with the cold. Yeah, that's actually what I was going to go kind of switch over to. Let me go back here. So I'm going to show you this first. So again, this is the latest satellite loop, and you can kind of tell. I think I can get my drawing tool to work here. So you can kind of see these lighter blues. So that's some moisture that's working back up into North Texas. So that's low clouds. This is, of course, at night. And so, this is the early indications of the storm system that's actually over here right now. It's going to be heading this way. And you see these clouds right here. So those are upper level clouds. You can tell that's exactly where the jet streak is. So that's the energy in the upper levels. And so I'm going to... I'm going to erase all this before it gets too messy. So we take all of that, and so you're going to have basically this jet streak is going to be coming this way, not in direction wind-wise, but just in overall movement. So you're going to, then tomorrow you're going to have this jet energy, horrible drawing there, right here as opposed to out here. And then again, you got this moisture coming right here, and so you got this, you got boom, you got there, you got this right here. And then that is a total mess, so my apologies. But basically what it means is you're going to get these showers and thunderstorms that are going to form along where that upper level energy meets the low level moisture, to be put in simple terms. And that's where we're going to get some storms, and of course they're going to quickly move off to the northeast. But what I wanted to show, and if I don't know if John is still on or not, but John, if you are, I wanted to show you for... John is my lifelong friend. We grew up 2 houses over from each other on Shorecrest way back when. So John's in Pensacola now, and I try not to think about that too much. So you're in this enhanced risk area, and if you look here, then you're also in this 10% hatched tornado area for tomorrow and Tuesday. So that's what I was talking about earlier. Just be careful because you're gonna have some rough weather out your way. All right, so let's get back to Kara's question. Let's see, because I was playing around with this earlier. There's that nasty cold weather coming, but that's the temperature. But let's go to the precipitation, and I don't know if I think we can. No, can't zoom in on this one. So this is a CFS. All right, so let's do this. This will go into motion. So that you can see our storm system is going to come tomorrow, and that next storm system. So and this actually goes through the end of the month. So you can see. Yeah, actually, let me go back to that. Okay. Whoops. Oh goodness gracious. Let's see. There we go. So I'm gonna try one more. Nope. Let's do this. Okay. So, ironically, this is 2 weeks from this coming Wednesday, the 24th of January. Now, again, this is 2 weeks out, so I don't even know that this would even happen. But the more we have more confidence right now, of course, in the cold weather coming tomorrow or really Tuesday, and then next weekend into next week. But we don't have a lot of confidence with precipitation with that system, even though it's going to be really cold. So we're a lot closer to that. Now this model, this right here, matter of fact, I think I can blow it up a little bit. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, it's a little better. So like I said, though, so this is January 24th, 2 weeks away. So I got a question today because I think I ain't been on my Apple Weather app. I think it said snow, and that's where some of these apps pick up on things is because they'll take one model, they'll take a consensus of models, blended models, and if you're talking 2 weeks out, I just don't have I just don't have a lot of confidence in that. But yeah, so you can find a model. Now this is if we go, let's see, that was what hour is that? That is hour 408 away, 408 hours away. All right, so I don't know if we have another model that goes out that far. We don't. But if we go to the GFS, and we could get pretty close. Oh, as a matter of fact, we can see. This is. Let me go back here. All right, so there's our storm system for tomorrow. Pretty. You kind of give you an idea of what it's looking at. And then this low is going to track along, maybe some flurries along the Red River. And then, okay, that's all fine. And then this is Thursday, Friday. So this is Friday when the other front comes through. Now you can see in southern Oklahoma, again, one model, GFS. Some light snow wrapped around that. So that would be Friday night, Saturday morning. And then that system moves on out. And then this is, into next week when we get really cold. And okay, again, this is Monday the 15th. And then, okay, that's Monday night, Tuesday morning. Not looking so great, right? Sorry, Carrie, I know you were going. You want to go to the game. And by the way, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. And then it kind of moves away. And then I don't think this model doesn't go out as much. But actually, it gets really close. So that one model, the CFS, had all that snow, and then the GFS doesn't have any snow. So it's there you go. Again, 2 weeks out. Yeah, yeah, you won't go to the game. I figured you wouldn't go to the game. Hopefully, you can go to the game though, Kara. It's much more fun to go to the game than watch it on TV. So, okay, so I think that about wraps it up. I don't see any other comments in the chat. But before I wrap it up, I will one more time, in case you're just joining us, I'll go back to do a quick summary. And we will get rid of this and go back to the. Oh, well. Thought we could. Let's try this. Oh, there we go. All right. So if you're just joining us, a quick wrap up. So tomorrow morning, starting around sunrise for most of us, rain going to move in, scattered showers, thunderstorms. Most of the severe weather would be southeast Dallas Fort Worth. At least we hope. Then it's going to get windy, 25, 30 miles an hour, maybe higher gusts. So again, if you have outdoor stuff, if you still have your outdoor Christmas stuff up, then make sure you go bring that in. The severe weather outlook for today. So, and again, it's west of us because that's where it's going to start. But again, even out there, it's just a marginal risk. And then tomorrow, we have a marginal risk for most of North Texas, unless you live in Sherman or Paris. But even then, as I've always said, don't let your guard down all the way. And then, but the main risk, main severe weather parameter we have to deal with is, as you can see, not tornadoes, not severe hail, but severe wind gusts, 58 miles an hour or greater. Again, and I think that'll be isolated. I don't know that we'll have one severe thunderstorm warning tomorrow in North Texas. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't at all. I also wouldn't be surprised if we had a few. So just something to watch out for. And then the story goes, like I said, I don't have a graphic for it, but it'll warm. Tuesday will be cold and windy and sunny. And then Wednesday, Thursday will be relatively nice, 50s and maybe even 60 with gusty south winds. And then we're going to get into next weekend. As you can tell from the outlook, it's going to be a lot colder. The warm model says 28 next Saturday. The cold model next Saturday says 16. And then the really outlier model, Wednesday, a week from Wednesday, it says we'll get down to 4, which I don't believe at all. Hello, Blake. Yeah, winter weather is hard enough for 1 or 2 days before the actual event. 9 days away is literally impossible. Yeah, I agree 100%, Blake. It's that's why I just kind of laugh, because when people get so excited, quote unquote, about snow, it's going to snow 2 weeks from now. I mean, we can't even predict, even in a typical spring type pattern. We're just doing rain and thunderstorms. That's hard to predict 2 weeks out. So especially in North Texas, where if everything does, as Blake knows, he grew up here. If you don't have everything exactly right, and winter precipitation, snow, even ice, sleet, if you don't have everything right and everything that comes together right at the same time, then it's not going to happen. It's like severe weather on the warm season. If you don't have everything that comes together, the instability, the moisture, the helicity, things like that, the wind shear. If you don't have that all comes together at exactly the right time over the exact same location, you don't get the ultimate severe weather. So it's the same thing. Hello, Cameron. Better wear your coat. That's right. You better wear your coat, especially starting tomorrow night. Hello, Roger. So have shorts, pants, and all jackets and suns. So have shorts, pants, all jackets, and sunscreen. Yeah, pretty much. You're gonna need the sunscreen Wednesday, Thursday, especially, and then you're gonna need the jackets starting late tomorrow, and then Tuesday, and then you can break them back out Friday evening into the foreseeable future. That is the classic Texas weather for you. If you've lived here for any amount of time, then you know that's what we deal with in the wintertime. It makes it kind of fun and interesting, that's for sure. So the bottom line is this, before we wrap it up, is that it's going to be a little stormy tomorrow, especially early. Not to be terribly overly concerned about. And then it's going to turn windy on Tuesday, windy and cold. Temperatures below freezing. Maybe not for highs, but it's definitely going to get below freezing at night. Wednesday and Thursday, not too bad, 50s and 60s, but still windy, just out of a different direction. And then Friday evening, especially after sunset for most of us, the first of 2 Arctic fronts will come through. Saturday morning is going to be cold. Saturday morning is going to be anywhere from 25 degrees to 20, maybe even a tad chillier. And then that's going to last. We have another Arctic front move through Sunday night, next Monday. I'm trying to think about the timing. Now probably change too, by the way. And then it bring in some even colder air. And again, we may see temperatures in the teens. I think that's a pretty good way to look at it. I really don't think we're going to see temperatures in the single digits. And precipitation right now is really hard to come by. Right now, doesn't look too bad as far as winter precipitation. That may be disappointing to some, maybe reason for celebration for others. But it's, when you get that cold, any disturbance can cause any any precipitation to be a problem. So we're definitely got to watch it. I'll certainly be watching it, of course. All right, so I think I'm going to wrap this up, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching. I'll try to edit this and put this edited video, more of a summary on my YouTube channel. So look out for that. I'll try to do that here tonight. And then, if it gets crazy tomorrow morning, severe weather-wise, I don't think it will. But if it does, I'll hop on and we'll walk you through it together. And then, if you do have relatives in the southern United States, in Dixie Alley, as we call it, in the storm chasing community, just give them a heads up tomorrow, and that would be anywhere in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, anything south of I-20 through that part of the country. Just give them a heads up because they're going to have some rough weather. And my good buddy Renee, if you're watching this or watching it later, that would include you because you would be in that area. So be careful next couple of days. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you for watching, and I will be back as needed. But as always, I'm watching the weather so you don't have to. Hope everyone has a great rest of your week. Hope everyone has a great week coming up. Watch that weather. I'll be watching it too. Whether you have sunscreen or big old winter jacket, you'll probably need both. That's Texas weather for you. We'll talk to you soon, everybody. Have a great evening.